Yes.
Ken, my name is Milton Young, and born and raised here in Canton, Ohio. And I'm a member of the Buckeye chapter of the Paralyzed Veterans of America. Actually, I'm my chapter hospital liaison up in the spinal cord floor of the Lewis Stokes VA. And mine is only 26 spinal cord units in the whole United States. We deal with individuals that have suffered catastrophic injuries. That's spinal cord injury. I didn't get injured in the service. I got injured here at home. But that and suffer from ALS and MS. And each year, this time and the time for your meeting, we send a delegation down to Washington, as we call it, advocacy legislation. We make appointments with all our senators and congressional leaders from here in the state of Ohio. I see on TV all the time how they sit up there and they tell you, we love our vets. Now when we go down to Washington and we've got these issues, and I give an example, as we call it, expanding eligibility for the VA Comprehensive Caregiver Program, which basically, this program takes care of veterans that were seriously injured on or after 9/11. And these veterans, some of the programs that are available for them, and this is for their caregivers, wife, family members, whoever's taking care of, is respite care, a monthly stipend, just in case, your family member or wife would have to stop paying, paying travel expenses to attend the veteran medical appointments, and also health care through Champion VA and everything. But the problem with this that we took our congressional leaders down there is that date, 9/11, individuals prior to that, and the vast majority of them, and I think some of the gentlemen in here were Vietnam vets. They don't have those same benefits. We ask our congressional leaders, all we ask them to do is just get rid of that arbitrary date and level the playing field for all vets. I mean, what's the difference between a vet that served after 9/11 and before? We're all vets. We all took that. You took it, I took it, and there's other them 24/7, that will leave within 48 hours sometime and lay our lives down on the line for every individual in this room. But so we ask them that just get rid of that arbitrary date and level the playing field for all individuals that have veterans that have serious injuries.
I'm with you, 100%.
How do you feel about that?
My grandfather was a World War II vet, flew B-17s in the Pacific. My dad was a Phantom pilot in Vietnam, and this arbitrary distinction, it's political. That's what it is. It makes no sense. I remind myself every time I get a question like this of the Lincoln quote at the entrance to Lewis Stokes, at the entrance to most VAs, at the one I go to in Lorraine. For him who shall have borne the battle, for the widow and the orphan. The VA's promise is to care for those who have borne the battle, for their widows and their orphans. And for my part, I will say, and I hope you agree, Milton, that the care itself, especially my interactions with the nurses and the staff, has been pretty darn good. They are putting their lives out there for us, but it's the politics that they have to deal with, the lack of resources that they're forced to function with, that is the real outrage. They're not being given what they need to do the job, and it's politics more than anything, and I'm all for removing that distinction. Let me give you, hopefully this isn't the last question because I want to end on a high note, but when you talk about just how broken the politics is when it comes to caring for vets and widows and orphans, one of our top priorities is ending the widow's tax. the widow's tax is this loophole that takes away half of a survivor's continuing benefit that they have to live off of. A buddy of my brother's was killed in Afghanistan. I spoke to his wife not long ago. She is getting by with 2 kids on $15,000 a year because they slashed her benefit in half because of this widow's tax. When she goes to Congress, and when widows like her go to Congress and say, can you do something about this? And nothing happens, and they try to figure out why. What they've discovered is that, well, there's only a few 10,000 of them, 40,000 or something like that. They're spread all over the country. There's only a few in the Ohio 7th. That's not a constituency. That's not a constituency. Why would I go out of my way as a representative to do what's right for just a few hundred people? That's how broken our system is when we can't even do that for the widow of a friend of my brother killed in Afghanistan. And, you know, I frankly don't care how many constituents there are or there aren't for an issue like that. We've got to do right by those who have borne the battle for the widow and for the orphan.